So today I'm going to talk about clearing the throat chakra, and therefore also possibly clearing thyroid problems, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, goiter, all those things. I'm not a licensed medical healthcare professional. I'm a medical intuitive. I'm a doctor of spiritual psychology, and I have had a personal journey, intensive personal journey of reclaiming my voice. So take it or leave it, but I will offer you whatever I can on this subject. So the throat chakra, we'll start with like this generic idea that people have about the throat chakra, which is that to clear it, you must tell the truth. And the deepest meaning of that is that we have to tell ourselves the truth, because the throat chakra is the chakra of action. It's not just speaking, or it's not just the voice, it's the actions. So if you know something inside of you, but you don't act in alignment with it, you are losing power, you are losing life force from the throat chakra. You're also losing life force from your lower chakras, which the throat chakra itself doesn't really have its own karma. It's expressing the karma of the lower chakras. So I'm going to get into what that looks like. But telling yourself the truth about something, by the way, this also clears your third eye, because when you are purposely blinding yourself to a situation because the truth is too inconvenient for you, if I acknowledge that this relationship is actually abusive, I'd actually have to leave it. I'd actually have to do something. I'd have to say something. I'd have to do something that my ego is afraid of the repercussions of doing that. Right? So actually, it's all connected. So we're actually clearing our whole system when we talk about acting in alignment with our highest understanding. So if you have this wound, it may be the case that we were born with the wound, right? So our childhood does not create our wounds. We don't come in with a blank slate, okay? So if we have this wound and our soul wants to heal it, we might attract parents or family members or school teachers or cousins that maybe sexually abuse us, for example. Or some form of abuse, some form of violation of the boundary in a place that's supposed to be safe for you, but it isn't. So, and then when you try to say something about it, you get shut down. You're not believed, you're told to apologize, right? So you're conditioned to believe that's something that's fundamental, like your own instinct, right? Animals know that they shouldn't be touched without permission. Like, this is an animal basic instinct. So we learn and we are taught to turn off our instincts, our basic primal intelligence. And in some ways, right, that makes us feel subhuman, sub-animal even, because even animals have instincts and they can act on their instincts. So if you're a human being, an adult, that cannot act on one's instincts, imagine the conflict that you create and the feeling of that destabilizing feeling, and that feeling that you question your sanity, because it's so conditioned in you that the most primal, obvious thing, which is the way something feels to you, that it feels violative to you, you deny it. Your mind denies it. You close your third eye to the truth. Therefore, you can't take action in alignment with the truth. Therefore, you give your power away. Therefore, you shut your heart because you don't believe that you deserve safety, you deserve love. So everything shuts down. And then we wonder why people pleasers have such issues with chronic illness and with autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease, although I don't believe that the body attacks itself, I really don't believe that. What I do believe is that we attack ourselves by not acting in alignment with our truth, We attack ourselves. So here's how we clear the throat chakra. First, we acknowledge the truth about things. So an example of this is like, we have only been recently taught about subtle forms of abuse, even spiritual abuse, being given the cold shoulder, being punished with silence, being punished with distance, being rewarded like a little puppy dog for good behavior, but then being punished for what the abuser person perceives as something that they don't want, right? Something that challenges them. We've only recently discovered attachment styles, all these things, but yet this wound is thousands of years old. So you're in a relationship, in an intimate relationship, in a business relationship, in a friendship, in a student-teacher relationship, where you feel this game being played, for example, and it feels like a violation to you. Or in other words, it doesn't feel like love. It doesn't feel conscious. But you can't name it. You don't know what to call it. Maybe you're not a psychologist. Maybe you haven't read the freaking book on attachment styles. But your body knows. Your body has never really lost the instinct. What we've lost is the acknowledgement of the instinct. So to acknowledge in your life, like, okay, whatever this is, I may have shut my eyes to it, but I know for sure that it just feels completely off to me. I know that it's off. I know that for sure. So in order to act in alignment with what you know, at the very least, you can start by writing it down. And by the way, your truth is not necessarily that someone is X, Y, or Z, is a label, has a psychological diagnosis, or whatever the case may be. The thing that you know for sure is that it doesn't feel right to your soul. It could be even the way somebody touches you, somebody that you are already in a relationship. The way that they touch you feels unconscious. And you don't know what to call that. You don't know what to name it, but you know it's off. So here's what happens. Here's another example. There's family, so much of what gets stuck in the throat is about family secrets. Family secrets that you've maybe not even are consciously aware of, but that you're holding energetically. Things you felt in your family that, you've been forced to play nice with people, or you've been forced to show up at events, but like part of you just feels so repulsed by something. That's you holding on to a family secret. So you might not know what the secret is, but at least to acknowledge it, to say, I can't put my finger on this, but my instincts are speaking to me. And sure, maybe there's a layer above that. Maybe there's over it, I should say, your emotional reactions, your projections. But I think we all know the difference between our projections and our instincts. And if we don't, here's how to tell the difference. If you sincerely want to know when you're projecting and reacting from your own wounding, if you sincerely want to know that, your soul will show you. But that discomfort you feel, that instinctive discomfort you feel around something will not disappear, because it's not meant to disappear. It's meant to tell you, to inform you about something so that you can actually have free will and act in alignment with God, essentially, with God. God that speaks through your, I love Carolyn Mace calls it your organic divinity. So the throat chakra in and of itself, I would say it's telling yourself the truth about friendships that you're in, business situations that you're in. Do you not like the way somebody does things? Have you made a deal with the devil, so to speak? You've decided to do, you're already in a business partnership, but you've noticed like a real lack of integrity. Well, you better act in alignment with that, or you're kind of screwed, because your soul's going to knock at your door somehow, because the universe is rigged for truth. So we have to be honest about our lives. We have to be honest about our relationships. Am I shrinking myself to be convenient for someone? Am I pretending that something that really, really bothers me and is fundamentally incompatible with me, am I pretending that I don't care about that thing? whether it's deep sexual incompatibility, whether it's, and sure, sexual incompatibility can be temporary, but if it's chronic, there might be something there. There might be a message there for you. Killing parts of yourself off to make something fit, like a puzzle piece that you're trying to make fit, that's you lying to yourself. So first we have to be willing to see things as they are. And to see things as they are, we have to be able to not need whatever we have. Because if we're afraid to leave a marriage or a business, or if our fears are making our decisions for us, we might distort reality and try to convince ourselves that something is something that it really isn't, so that we make it fit for our fears. So we have to be willing to open our eyes to things, not to judge them, but to see if they resonate with us, with our hearts. Then we have to be able to act in alignment with that truth, right? So in a relationship, if you don't like the way you're touched, even if you're married, even if you've been married for 30 years, all of a sudden you realize that the person has been touching you like a plaything and not like a soul, you say, wait a minute, this isn't okay with me. And you know what happens? This is so crazy. So a family secret or an archetypal lie or a generational trauma is like a field. So if there's like people that are let's say a narcissist, right? Often one of the parents enables the narcissist. And then the people in the narcissist life might enable them as well, if they don't choose any people in their life to check them or to challenge them. Once somebody in the constellation starts to challenge the lie, even not say it out loud, but just acknowledge it within, that field of lies starts to crack. It starts to crack because you're not enabling it anymore. And it's like the stilts that you were providing for that field of lies, you have broken the stilts. And so the field will get erratic. So it's interesting, like you don't necessarily have to go tell the whole world something, although maybe you do, right? What your soul wants you to do. Like, thank God there's people who are speaking up about human trafficking. Thank God there's people speaking up about the shit going on in Hollywood. Thank God there's people speaking up about all kinds of things. But I can't tell you whether that's the right thing for you to do. All I can tell you is that when you acknowledge the truth within yourself, the action that must be taken in alignment with reality, with your soul, will become obvious to you. And everything connected to the lie will destabilize. So when you no longer play into a game or an illusion, some of the people connected to that illusion might attack you, or might not like you anymore, or might not resonate. You might fall away from each other. Good. Would you rather fit into a lie, or would you rather live in the truth? That's the big question. So when it comes to the lower chakras, if in your heart you know you deserve to be treated well, but you're putting up with something less than that. I love something that Abraham Hicks says. They say, put up with nothing. Put up with nothing. Don't put up with people giving you the cold shoulder. Don't put up with people playing games with you. Have standards. Raise your standards. I promise you, you do not have to put up with things and lower your standards. Reality will meet you in your standards. I am telling you that from experience. Reality will meet you in your standards and in your self-worth. So in the heart, a blocked throat chakra could be expressing, I don't believe I deserve love. So I put up with things. And then I tell myself that the grass is always greener on the other side, so I stay. Then I give my power away, right, in the solar plexus. I give my power away to this person, or this situation, or this temptation, or this security, or this job, because I've forgotten that my real power is God, right? My source is my supply, not this job, not this business deal, not this intimate partner, not this spiritual teacher. That is not my source. we have to remember what our source is. It's the divine. So when we're getting the bravery and the divine will to disconnect from a lie that we've maybe lived in for lifetimes, or however you want to think of it, for eternity even, the feeling of disconnecting from that lie will feel very, very strange to you. It will feel destabilizing. Woo-hoo-hoo. It'll feel crazy to you because you've never known anything else. You've been part of this malaise, this act, this movie that you very clearly know you don't belong in anymore. And it will feel destabilizing. We have to get our power back in our solar plexus, and we have to remember, we have to have the will that, okay, I can disconnect from something that is unhealthy for me, and God will come in and fill that hole. I don't need to fill it with someone else or with something else. We get power back in our second chakra when we no longer hold on to guilt about doing what's right for us. I mean, you could spend hundreds of lives just never doing what's right for you because you feel guilty that you're going to hurt someone's feelings. Let me tell you something. You can't hurt a soul. You can only hurt an ego. I'm not saying to be callous and selfish and not uncaring, but you have to start from a place of self-love. Like, if I loved myself and I was honest with myself and I said, keeping myself financially unsuccessful, for example, or financially trapped just to resonate with my family, who am I really helping here? Nobody. My ego thinks that I'm sparing them some negative feelings that would actually probably be good for them and inspire them and help stretch them out of their box. And in the first chakra, we have to realize that even if we weren't given safety as a child, even if we've been given this wound of feeling fundamentally unsafe in this world, we can give ourselves, we can decide for ourselves, I want to be here. That's what puts energy in the root chakra. I want to be here. I can be here. I can handle the pain. I can walk through it, and I can walk through the consequences and repercussions of me waking up out of this nightmare that I've been in for eternity. I can handle all of those things. Therefore, I'm in this chakra now. I'm in this world. I'm in this physical world, and I can handle it. And now I'm here. And now I'm driving. The movie's not driving me. I'm driving. The divine in me is driving. So in the root chakra, it's like, no matter how you were treated as a child, no matter what happened to you, no matter even if the people that were supposed to take care of you didn't take care of you, I have compassion for that. But at the end of the day, you get to save yourself. You get to make yourself safe in this world. You get to decide that you're incarnating into that chakra, into this physical world, and that it is safe to be here and that you can handle discomfort. Because so much dissociation is simply the result of believing that you cannot handle discomfort. That's it. Oh, I can't handle humiliation, I can't handle uncertainty, I can't handle discomfort, so whoop, I'm gonna just fly out of my chakra system and I'm gonna disassociate. No. You heal that by saying, I can be here and I can handle whatever comes. Because you're the light. Whatever comes at you that's uncomfortable is a temporary experience. Sometimes you could even think of it as the opponent or the shadow opponent that's testing you to see if you've really anchored your consciousness of immortality. But anything that tries to bring you down or keep you small is such a mere, it's a shadow compared to who you are. So healing the throat is about healing your entire being, right? But it begins with asking the question sincerely, how am I lying to myself right now? And how can I stop lying to myself? And it doesn't have to be necessarily that you confront people or that you say something about someone, but it might mean that. But at the very least, you acknowledge it to yourself. And you might not know. You might not know that what the family secret is. You might not know that you're in a relationship with an extremely, deceptive person, but your instincts know. So that's where you start. What do you know for sure? That's how you develop steady ground. That's how you stop spinning in the feeling of questioning your sanity. What do I know for sure? I know for sure that this feels completely wrong to me. Okay, work through your emotions and projections. Ask, am I projecting something? Is what I'm feeling totally off? Is it totally a projection? You will know the answer to that. When you've worked on sitting through your reactive behaviors and your reactive emotions, and you've learned to be still and stuff, and at the end of the day, your soul is still quaking, because no matter how forgiving you are or understanding you are or still you are, there's something fundamentally out of alignment here in this business, in this relationship, in this friendship, and the soul is just trying to let you know. So to heal the throat, we have to take actions in alignment with the message of the soul. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful day.